Chang, he's amazing. Hey, mom, dad, or just mom because dad took off, or something worse than taking off. Hey, mom, I'm working with Larry. He's famous and awesome. Check him out. He's teaching me all these things like advanced shit, like how to sell HVAC, or how to get a free hotel room, or how to work a comedy club. What? That doesn't sound normal. That doesn't sound traditional. You should traditionally succeed. What is traditional success? It's repairing a bike in order to invent airplane flying. Wright brothers. What is traditional success? It's loading up yellow pages onto web pages so that way you can land a rocket ass first. What is traditional to you is non-traditional because they haven't read one book about traditional entrepreneurship effort. Me, I have. I actually have a plan to be successful in comedy. Just like I have a business plan in order to attempt to be marginally 1% more successful per hour. Get it? The rate of change is I'm going to double. I'm going to double you. This is why some people, their head starts to spin because they can't quite think exponentially. Where I want you to set goals incrementally. I want you to set goals incrementally. I want you to set goals incrementally. So that way you can stop being friends with famous people and you can be one of the famous people that I'm friends with. I'm enjoying a little bit of tail. I hope that you guys are heterosexual because when you're trying to succeed as a non-heterosexual, I see a lot of homosexual people sexually frustrated. And it's not because they can't get tail, it's because they're wired to not win. Because who wants to score dick, right? You're trying to get away from that childhood trauma. You're not wanting to re-experience trauma. And then the elixir, lubricant, surfactant to that experience of re-experiencing your childhood trauma by opiating, luxuriating in alcohol, in which case the next day your asshole hurts and your head pounds. Why does your butthole hurt? Well, because your sphincter was meant to do one job. What other job does it have? Well, if she's been on a date, she's been holding it in because she doesn't want to fart directly in your face or in your presence if you have enough money to own a car where you're driving her and you somewhere. She's not going to fart in the car. Now her butthole, it has one job. Never fart and never poop. Guess what? Never farter, never pooper is also going to never have an orgasm. Why? Because her pelvic floor, her chakra 6 is closed off. So chakra 6 is your pelvic floor. Her butthole is a dam. Even if she's got borderline diarrhea after taking a laxative, her butthole is not even going to filter, hey, thing trying to escape my butthole. Is this a fart? Or is this a shart? Or is this a Bristol 2 piece of poo, which is semi-soft poo, where she doesn't want to shit the bed, so when she's farting at night, she has to have her butthole determine, is this a fart or is this a Bristol 1, which is diarrhea. Now her butthole, it's going to be stressed, where as soon as a little bit of liquid comes out, she's like, oh, that's diarrhea. I can't let the rest of my fart out. This is why when I talk to women, hey, what is going on with your butthole? Did you fart on my half chub last night? This is what women will say. They'll say, hey, when I let gas go, I have to determine if it's a fart or if it's a shart. Now your butthole is acting like a filter where it's just trying to release gas and not trying to release liquid. Solid liquid gas. There shouldn't be farts coming out of your butthole. I know I sound like a Korean cowboy giving a gastrointestinal talk, cosplaying as a Chinese PhD candidate on gastrointestinal health. I realize that I dip a toe into that medicinal water. But bear with yourself and download this knowledge, which is your gastrointestinal health. It should be solid out your butthole only. So if you're a homosexual and you're retarded, now you've got other things that are going up your ass. And then now your butthole's confused because your butt, it doesn't want to fart. There's a Pixar movie and it explains farts super well, where it's an emergency release valve for when stuff in your stomach is not going in the right direction. Here's an example of gastrointestinal health. Me and 10 dudes, we eat Mexican food. Some of the meat wasn't exactly healthy. They got food poisoning. I got a little bit of gas. It's called an iron stomach. So when your stomach is able to discern what is poisonous and what is nutritious, now you've got a perfectly operational stomach with microbiomes, and it's a functioning thing. And if you're asking yourself, hey, what's going on today? It's me, Larry Chang, on my channel, What They Don't Teach You in School. The game that we're playing is Friday Comedy. We have a plan for comedy. Now, with the advent and the invention of plans, your job, should you choose to play along, is either to help me with my plan or hurt me with my plan. The way to do this is you comment something and I work it into the comedy script that I have behind you. So far, we've covered a little bit of gastrointestinal health. We've teased bathroom comedy, which is coming up. We've also made the hilarious insight, your butthole. It shouldn't have to be a filter to determine if it's a solid, liquid, or a gas. That would be a thermodynamics joke, which is your butthole. It should just be releasing solids. And then the ancillary, auxiliary layup joke that writes itself is if your butthole is acting gay and retarded, now your butthole is going to infect the rest of your body. Because your butthole, it's actually brain number 3 of your 5 brains. Brain 1 is your brain. Brain 2 is your heart. Brain 3 is your stomach, mouth to ass. Therefore, your butthole is brain 3. Brain 4 is your penis or your vagina. Brain 5 is AI. What's up? Good morning. It's great to see you. I'm Larry. I don't know who you are, but why don't you say hi so that way you won't just be a ADD, ADHD tourist popping from channel to channel. I even have a special guest coming on today. You can see its tail. It's a pretty cute little tail, right? Hey, Flipper, wag your tail. True story, dolphins hunt killer whales and orcas. Hunt for pleasure. Are you guys going to be hunting this weekend? Any punani? Or if you have pussy, are you looking forward to hunting dudes because dudes are not even hunting you anymore? Women are not getting cold opened. Green tea is delicious. What happened to the spammers? What happened to spammers? I get upgraded to YouTube Premium and my experience is like a little too clean. True story. YouTube Premium. We're playing a game, Happy Friday. It's called Friday Comedy Plans for Comedy. Last night, Creek and the Cave. Someone's on fire because somebody's locked in. I want you to be able to benefit from my ascension. I want you guys to be able to benefit from watching me struggle with 3 viewers, 15 audience members, and a single digit number of laughs. Because a 1% solution involves an up at dawn, pride swallowing experience of 1 viewer, 0 likes. But what we're doing here is we're not trying to social media up. We're trying to succeed here and also on a web page. We're trying to succeed here and also a live stage. We're on a journey together. Your choices moving ahead are these bullet pointed insights. 1, the people that you are in competition with, they are so fast to quit. Their default is like Eskimos have 17 words for snow. Foids and dudes under 25, they have 17 words for quitting. Chasing a shiny object, that's not worked. Chasing the easier thing to say, oh, college is just an indoctrination rubber stamp. But then they miss the process of you kind of wanted to quit, but then you didn't quit, and then you got a reward for not quitting. Because we're at a stage right now where there is such low trust by and between people. That's not anything that you can do anything about. Why? Because the low trust, it comes from the top. I don't trust the president. Nobody trusts the government. You shouldn't. And the money's fake. Boobs are fake. And the boobs that are fake, you're not even looking at anymore. Where you're just completely checked out because you don't want to be disappointed again. This is why this plan for comedy, it's going to work. Why? Because I'm pretty funny 90% of the time, not 100% of the time. But then again, I forgive myself for not being funny more than 80% of the time. I tolerate being funny only 15% of the time. But why does that math actually math as if it's hashtag Ebonics math? There's 11 X's in Ebonics math. What is that? It is us being able to 10x by altering a thing that exists, Ebonics. Ebonics. That's a thing that exists. It's a Jewish biohazard to make black people even more retarded. I'm not down with that. So that's why I solo invented hashtag Ebonics maxing. 10 X's total, 4 in Ebonics, EBONIXXX, 4 X's, maxing, 6 X's. The reason I did that is to not only just help black people, but to help all people, because a thing is hiding everywhere in the open. It's called a hashtag. And that's what makes this comedy session slightly different, is my utilization of hashtags. Clip it. See, the way that other people use hashtags is hashtag ADD, hashtag sarcasm, hashtag something stupid. The way that I use a hashtag is incredibly specific that will never go viral. It's a reminder for us to link together prior conversations. 5 brains, hashtag CS183, 5 brains. AI with ClaudeBot, AI with OpenClaw, AI with a sub $300 subscription. I actually will financially benefit when you get ROI for your 285.58 before 90 days before you spend 285.58. Why? Because I ask myself the question for my fuck pad, which is both in the future and in the past. How can this fuck pad of $5,000 per month return on investment 90 days before I spend $5,000? So this is sugar daddy math. These jokes just write themselves. So sugar daddy math is cost per bang. Sugar daddy math, which is, Larry, I didn't know that as sugar daddy, you spend $0. Foids, that is correct. 2026, 2025, Larry has spent exactly $0.0 heterosexually dating an inordinate, obnoxious, STD-laden number of women. So this is not narcissism. This is, are you calling my heterosexual dating a liberal phraseology? Do you think I'm addicted to sex? Because your terminology shows me that you are non-competitive. Your protocol and syntax have showed me that you are no longer in the game. Your choice of words, you're trying to be a NPC, because what is an NPC in a porn? You're not even in the room. You're not even on the set as a grip. You're spank banking in secret. You're addicted to social media. Oh, but Larry, I'm a woman. I don't use porn. Oh, you use porn 10 times a day. It's called TikTok and Instagram. That's porn for women. Have you heard? This is food porn. This is interior design porn. This is girl porn. That's what girl porn is. Ditto dating apps where you're feeding off of attention of dick that you have zero interest in. Ditto guys who are on porn, they have some interest actually in marrying them. Men love romantically, women love economically. Sugar daddy, $0. I know. Men love romantically, women love socioeconomically/economically. Hi, it feels like you're new here. I'm also new here, sort of. I am Larry Chang, and my channel's on What They Don't Teach You in School. And the component within that, which is going to explode, I will bring you into my streaming comedy special, 1% improvement at a time. Because you witness this with a single number digit of viewers or likes or some metric where you're going to say, there's no way he can be successful, but I'm succeeding right in front of your face right now. I'm not bragging the way a black or a white person would, which is just massive amounts of shit talking. You're talking to the rebranded Korean cowboy, which is really an Asian cowboy, but it's really not, because it's a good kind of cowboy It's an Oriental cowboy. But people want to brand it Korean cowboy, and I'm going to do a yoga class called Korean Cowboy Yoga. Hey, hey, you drop the brands and you dream up the character, and I will live up to the hype. Larry, I met you in person. You're exactly as advertised. I didn't know that that wasn't a persona. That's what makes this persona work. Let's you and I improve. Let's you and I play a game. It's called You Comment Something, and I work it into my comments. I swear I did not turn off comments. I swear that maybe I did turn off comments. I hope not. I want to see you guys. Let's go. Have you guys been commenting? Now I'm thinking that Chad Hurley, Steve Chen came up with a spam filter. Moving right along, comedy plan. You participate in my 1% improvement. You participate, whether you're negative or you're positive, in my journey to attempt to get 1% better per hour. Most people, they're not trying to get 10% better in a year. They're just trying to not gain 20 pounds in 1 year, eating that goy slop, eating fake food, wondering why you're plumping up like a cow ready for slaughter. Some people. So, money and sugar daddy. These jokes just write themselves. Because what if you ask yourself, my rent is going to come due. Today is August 21. Thank Jesus Christ that August has 31 days. You get to drive Uber and deliver Instacart for 2 extra days. Congratulations, your rent's not going to be that late. Your rent's not going to be that late because this month and last month had 31 days. Do you feel better now? Because we're going to ask ourselves an empowering question. Green tea, delicious. Delicious. My coaster, that's a sign of maturity. Where mom and dad aren't yelling at me to use a coaster. Mom and dad are not yelling at me, which is actually a bad thing. Because when mom and dad yell at me, they feel younger. So empowering question, before money goes out, what if we asked ourselves 90 days before the money is due to go out, can I get that money back? That's ROI. But then people's attention span got ruined because of timelines and scrolling. This is not a video to repair that. There's no hope for that except for this one exercise. This one exercise, it's going to take 5 to 15 minutes per day, which is, can you ask an empowering question? Why is nobody even talking here? I'm getting a lot of views. Nobody's talking, which is empowering question. What if I got ROI for business school before I paid $275,000 to go to Stanford GSB? Is that even possible, Larry? Let's set that aside as a teaser for the other 2,000 videos that you didn't watch. I get it. You're waiting for each video to hit 80,000 views before you view it as, hey, everything that this guy says, I'm intrigued by and I connect with, but I just don't want to trust one person because they are really, really, really good looking and cute. And if I fall in love with this guy, then I might be disappointed when he erects a paywall. then you're going to say, hey, you changed my deal. I was hoping all this content were forever free. And here's the other problem, is that all of this is free, and now that's fucking with your mind a little bit because you think it's worth $500,000, and now you want to ruin yourself because your uncle ruined your vagina when he was 50 and you were 9. Ouchie, ouchie. And now you're messed up because by the time you were almost 11, you started to quasi enjoy it. Plot spoiler, you didn't enjoy it. This is your brain trying to survive. This is shit that I don't want to know. Me, how do I know about the LGBTQ TT pluses community so well? I argue that 2 women molesting you is the equivalent of 1 guy molesting you. Is that a PhD thesis? Sure. Where are the comments? I swear I did not turn them off, although it's very peaceful. Very, like, luxurious. I'm not going to say that you guys should get YouTube Premium, but my YouTube experience, it's amazing. ROI. So let's say you can't afford $260 for groceries, right? So you're at the checkout counter and you're like, I gotta start getting rid of $30 worth of shiitake. Did you know that I found out, because I've been slumming it with black and white people who are retarded? Did you know that a lot of black people and white people, did you know that they don't know how a bank account works? No making this stuff up. You know, we'll just call the ethnicity what they were, which is white. These white people don't know how a bank account works. They think if you just start a bank account and that somebody knows where you're banking, that the money can just fly out of that bank account. Or that you would commit fraud using a retard's bank account number. What? This is proof that this ethnicity can't read one book. I get why you never bought into Web 5 or Web 12 or Web 2 or Web 0. I get it. Or Web 4. I get it. Because if I were to commit fraud, which you are accusing me of planning to commit fraud, I would not identity thieve a person with actually a high amount of net worth, which is $16. No credit card debt, no car loan debt, worth $16. That's wealthy in this country. What the fuck? So at $16, you're at the 90th percentile of most wealthy people in the world. You're in the top 1 or 2%. But why would I steal if you have $16? Let alone if you had $16 plus $300 to start a bank account in the G spot of where you're going to accept money. You see, the way a bank account works is it's in only, unlike your asshole, which is out and in. Your bank account is in only. Do you get it? Do you get it? Is you set up a bank account to be in only. And then once it gets to 250K or 250 mil, depending on your results, you then start another bank account. Why would you start another bank account at 250K? Because you don't know how a bank works. Because if that bank disappears, your money is poof, gone. That's where the money's getting stolen. It's not getting stolen from a really, really, really hot Chinese guy who's also pretty cute, surprisingly, trying to ATM withdraw $500 on your $17 balance. What are you even trying to defraud? Oh, no, no, no. You're going to deposit money into window washing, which is a fucking bucket. And then those window washing contracts, which are micro, thin, tiny, and stupid, because look at any person who owns a window washing business. Zero net worth, zero capital equipment. You know what it takes to start a window washing business? A bucket. You don't even need the device that is the sponge. You just need a squeegee that is actually a $30 squeegee, because your squeegee is your entire business. Why? Because a high quality squeegee is no streaks. You can literally piss on a window and squeegee it, and it cleans. It helps if you have high quality piss with a little bit of surfactant. I realize that this is chemical engineering talk, and I now figured out that if you can't fucking figure out how to fucking work a fucking bank account, it's going to take you 35 years to get my equivalent of a chemical engineering degree at University of Illinois. Chemical engineering at Stanford, I don't know is it's that competitive. I think it's just a country club surrounding the chemistry building across the street from P.F. Chang's. Three buildings at Stanford. Building 1, the Coach Marc Marquez Center for Students and Athletes. I messed up that joke because it's actually not a joke. It's the Marc Marquez Center for Students and Athletes. Building 2 is the Tom Kosnick School of Engineering and Entrepreneurship. Initially, it's going to be a meeting room inside of the Marc Marquez Center for Students and Athletes. Parentheses, and student athletes. Why? Because students who are not student athletes could be better at entrepreneurship if they approached entrepreneurship. Page 251, Second Chance, the tetrahedron, which is all that matters is execution and attempts and looking like you suck. Hey, Kyle Stowers, I watched him. He sucked sometimes. I didn't get demoralized. I'm like, you're a good 7-hole hitter. Fucking learn to go oppo fucking taco. Until you do that, you're not going to go pro. Oppo taco. Oppo taco, Kyle Stowers. And as soon as he did one oppo taco for an out, I was like, enjoy being a pro. He made an out. He made an out batting 7-hole. He was already a sophomore. Like, I don't think he was a breakout freshman being great. I'm like, I can see how they're pitching you. You're going to need to make an out, oppo taco. Then he made 2 more outs. Then he got an oppo taco double. And then I'm like, enjoy being an all-star in the major leagues. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. Plus other genius shit, but that's the short version of it. The longer version is he started to mentor me because you don't need a guy, well, actually you do, behind home plate telling you what to do or seeing your problem. But his problem was so, everybody could see it. Everybody could see it. Everybody could see it. Solving that problem and then going from his mentor for a week to he is my mentor, which is Larry. Your social media is hilarious. Are you going out later tonight? Me? It's Monday. We're at Grand Canyon University. Why would I go out on Monday? What's wrong with you, Kyle? Nobody goes out on Monday. And also, that song was a big hit, which is Who goes out on Monday? So that's what I said to him. Kyle, quoting the song, who goes out on Monday? And then he felt bad. Like I squashed his energy and I told him he was retarded. I didn't tell him he was retarded. I just told him, who goes out on Monday? Let me try to think what I was wearing. I was wearing this. So then Mohawk has a food special. I don't want to cook in my hotel room again. I don't want to cook in my hotel room again. But Larry, don't you have a baller house in Scottsdale? Yeah, but I stay at the team hotel. I don't want to cook in the hotel room. I'm going to go to Mohawk. They got a food special. It's Monday. Coincidentally, it was Grand Canyon University Martin Luther King Day. So I go out, and Mohawk, true story, they did not change their food special even though they were getting screwed because it was Martin Luther King Day. So I get the food special. Guess who rolls in? A super hot bachelorette party. Cha-ching, dinner and a three-way. Cha-ching, dinner and unlimited pussy. Cha-ching, meet Larry Chang. So I was like, hey, who wants a selfie with the Chinese cowboy? And everyone's like, me, oh, do me. And I'm like, why don't I just get a group photo? Why don't I just do a group? So I'm in perfect position, popping the selfie. I can feel vagina ovulating behind me. And then I have this realization looking into my own lens, similar to this. I'm looking into my own lens. I'm not even staring at the baddies that surround. Not even looking at that. I come to the realization, holy fuck, Junior, who looks like a fucking golden fucking retriever. Look up Kyle Stowers. He looks like a golden retriever. He smiles like a golden retriever. He's always smiling. The only time he didn't smile was when I was saying, Kyle, who goes on Mondays? He was like, he had sad face. I'm like, but seriously, who goes on Mondays? I'm staring at my lens because that's why I ace every selfie. That's why I'm acing this, is I'm looking deeply into your eyes, realizing, oh my God, Kyle was right. I am out on Monday. And then now I gotta apologize because I am not a cunt. When I am wrong, I have to go find you and say, hey, your scout report on me, it was right. Because I am going out on Monday. I mean, I didn't go out any other Monday. I do go out 9 nights a week. I just don't go out on Monday, and I don't go out on Sunday. If you do the math, that means I go out 3 times or 4 times on Friday, which is, oh, it's getting late. You want to come back with me? And it's 9:15. We bang, and then I go back out. That's how to do 9 in a weekend. Is you're like, oh, Friday night poop out. Do you want to watch I think I got Monsters Inc. on streaming. Do you want to come back and watch that movie with me? Do you have HBO? Can we watch The Muse? Do you have HBO streaming at your parents' house? Oh, you mooch your mom's Netflix? That's cool. I'm looking into the lens, Mohawk, surrounded by baddies, surrounded. Half of them are thinking about doing a soft open on me, if not more than half. Going, please be single, please be single, please be single. I think I can get this guy. He's Chinese. He's probably never gotten a white girl before. I'm a hot white girl. I could get that. And then it's the perfect blend of he's an alpha male and he's my plow horse. I think I can get that guy I don't think that guy's ever gotten a white girl before. I can feel them thinking it while dropping an ovulatory egg. 62, 64, 67, turbo hike. That's what's going on in her fallopian tubes. Now she needs to be cream pied. I'm looking at the lens, and for a quick glimpse, my peripheral vision pick up on 5 to 15 girls. I'd actually fallopian baby juice her fallopian tubes and actually consider happy marriage for 10 to 13 years before the obvious divorce and me losing half my stack, which is either $600 million or $600, depending on how well your lawyer digs through my assets. And I'm thinking to myself, Kyle Stowers is my fucking mentor? A fucking junior at a top 32 school, Stanford. A junior is my fucking mentor? I'm going to have to, one, go apologize, and two, I'm going to have to tell 10 people that Kyle Stowers is smarter than Larry Chang because I'm at Mohawk. I'm eating food. That's food for lead gen. Is Mohawk got me there on the food, and now I get to sell you a $17,500 lap dance. Why? Because during bachelorette party lap dance, I do a PG-13 dance. I know my hands are huge. Where I'll say, take math class before math class. Ooh, I like how your hips move. Oh, I like how your hips move. Are you Chinese? One of my best friends is Chinese. She has really good skin. Why are your hips so fluid? Will you tell me? Will you tell me? I'm going to ask you a question. Will you tell me something? Yeah. What? No, I don't have any underwear on. Yes, my penis is huge. What? Can I ask you something? It's not that. You're very funny. You're very funny. Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? Yeah. Are you gay? I have a half chub doing a PG-13 strip dance. I'm not taking off any clothes. I'm asking you for $17,500, and your friend has her thumb in my taint. I got a 3/4 chub going. It's a giant penis. And you're going to ask me if I'm homosexual? I'm not going to just say, oh, I'm not a homo. Here's my penis. Because that's what you're trying to do. It's literally hitting you in the face. My giant girthy penis is hitting you almost in the face. So when you ask that question, here's the answer. Yes. You outed me. Yes. And then she'll say, no. Stop asking stupid questions, because when you ask stupid questions, it's literally hitting you in the face. And then she did the typical girl thing. She does the typical girl thing, which is she hits your penis inadvertently, completely on purpose, with her elbow or with her leg, or she'll be like, so this is my penis. So this is my penis. The tail end's my penis. The tail's the tip. She'll just be like, oh, sorry. Did I just hit your dick? Every time. Why? Because women, they have no idea, but they think about it. $17,500 for a lap dance. This is why every bachelorette party needs a Oriental cowboy that's been rebranded. This 1000% started at Creek and Cave, which is Korean cowboy. Are you Korean? Bad question. Yes. Are you Asian? I feel like you're at least half Caucasian. What? Because of my confidence? Yes. Are you partially black? Yes. Because when you're asking retarded questions, are you Vietnamese? Yes. What kind of Asian are you? Yes. Because of Kyle Stowers mentoring me, I told everybody that he's my mentor. That's how easy it is. Because it's not the jokes just write themselves, because they do. It's that when you're wrong, it doesn't matter how much money you have. When you're wrong, you're wrong. And when you're poor and dumb, you just want to be right a couple times and admit it when you're wrong, which is most of the time. But this is how most poor people act. They act like they're never wrong, and when they are caught doing something retarded, they start lying their ass off, especially if you're retarded and gay. If you're retarded and gay, you feel like you have license, and then nobody calls you out on it. Nobody keeps you accountable. This is why my LGBTQ TT plus community was always going to eat itself. I know. I'm the second penis after Uncle 1. Uncle 1, Larry 2. Clip it! Larry, I don't get it. I don't get any of it. That's because it's all true and it's funny all the time, about 70% of the time. It's true. Oh, you've got something special. Brady Bear, let's go for a walk.
Empowering questions. And this video will begin and end on Web 12. What's Web 12? Web 12 is where we have this dynamic. Oh my God, I remember that conversation. This is what I should have said. So this is the practice of having good interactions, is where we're asking empowering questions. This is the law of attraction. The law of attraction is where if you're positive and you're asking good questions, we end up benefiting. We end up benefiting because we're not asking lazy, bad questions that are flinch, where we're flinching a reaction that's just, no thought, no care, just a half, not even a half-baked thought. It's just a gut. It's a flinch. It's just where you're saying something by default. Here's an example. Hey, I'm going to next year's Super Bowl. Oh, and then 7 negative things that are not positive versus a positive question, which is, hey, do you plan each Super Bowl this early? That's actually really genius. Do you save money that way? Here's another genius question that's a prompt, which is, oh, is this similar to your concept of YouTube Lives or something positive? Do you make it a practice of combining work? Is that just a write-off? Where what you're doing is doing what this video does, which is beginning and ending in Web 12. What's Web 12? It's where we're using social media to have a two-way conversation, where we're using social media to be a power exchange and a information exchange, where we're not attacking it from a competitive or I'm going to do as little work as possible during this conversation. When people say, hey, I don't want to do any work during this conversation, that's the majority of people. Ditto, thank you for liking my dog. Ditto when other people say, I'm listening to your conversation or your monologue. I'm listening for things that are negative. What? Why would you listen for things that are negative? Or I'm paying attention to make sure that you make a mistake, or I'm hopefully going to nitpick a mistake. Because that's where people say, oh, but there are inconsistencies. Oh, there are things that run contrary to what you're saying, where you're not trying to get the value out of this. And what is the value, Larry? Hi, I'm Larry Chang. My channel's on What They Don't Teach You in School. What they don't teach you in school is asking empowering questions. What kind of empowering questions can we ask? We can ask the empowering question of, what if we were to have paid $2,000 for this video? Would we be able to get ROI, return on investment, on the $2,000? Versus, oh, this content's free, his channel's not monetized, there must be something wrong. There must be something wrong. So when we think that there must be something wrong, that's because up until this point in our YouTube practice, our scroll has been one of doom. I very much agree in what you said about Jesus, but what I don't agree with is the 4 sentences that you paste copy because it feels like you're a robot. Therefore,
Will you guys try to write a comment?
come back better after a 10-second timeout. Because nobody likes Christian people who spam retarded shit. Because that same message you've sent 100 times. Do you think that college was a worthwhile investment for today? So instead of thinking about investing in something else, pretend like this is a college class. And if this were a college class, this class would be called How to Make 4 Years Worth of Tuition. How to make 4 years worth of tuition doing what? By asking empowering questions so that way we get ROI for the next 10 YouTube videos that we watch. Let me repeat that. So instead of asking about more expenses in a adjoining class or a separate track, why don't we ask questions about return on investment for this invested time, right? Where did Dr. Soda go with his Christian spam? He drops in some Christian spam and then bam, he's gone. 3 Light Travelers said, hey, is that a purebred dog? Is that a purebred dog? Let's ask Brady. Brady, was your mom Chinese and your dad Chinese? Are you a Chinese dog? Brady's like, I'm a Shih Tzu. Brady, you're a Shih Tzu. Brady's a Shih Tzu. What are ways that we can practice asking empowering questions? This is a practice where, one, we want to ask ourselves empowering questions. This is when we ask other people negative questions. When we ask other people negative questions, it's because we ask ourselves negative questions of ourselves. So our negative self-talk will seep into the world. That's why I posed the question on a Larry Chang YouTube post. Hi, I'm Larry Chang. I asked on a YouTube post, tell me something that's positive about you. So that's a question I'm going to ask you guys, is tell me something that's positive about you. Tell me something that's a positive about you. Tell me something that's a positive about you. Is it an Asian custom to wear a hat indoors? Asian, when you ask a Chinese person who's wearing a cowboy hat if they're Asian, basically you're trying to water down Chinesiness. You should get a clip for your mic. Oh no. Because then we'd be wireless, where wired is the new wireless. I know. That's why I'm the one with 4,000 videos and you're the one with 0 videos. You have 0 videos, but you're giving advice. You see, that's the beauty of Web 12, is when you start giving advice, you're not even asking empowering questions, which is, hey, what's genius about having a wired microphone? This is what's genius about it. 1, no EMF waves. 2, improvement, because you're giving feedback where it's ambiguous feedback that's pointless. Whereas tell me that the sound quality is bad. Tell me that I look old, but you're trying to do page 140, page 127, page 132. You're trying to do beta male. What is beta male? Beta male is not good. Beta male isn't just, oh, I'm a beta male. Beta male is a man or a woman that drops with everything that you touch. becomes worse. That's called beta mailing. That's page 127. That's page 132. Nice. Nice. Ron Louther says, I'm trying to get 1K videos. I can smell success. Nice. That's awesome. Ron Louther has been spiking in subscribers. He does content that is hilarious. You look like you're struggling with the mic. Oh. Have you seen people with a spatula? 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 Have you seen people with a spatula where they speak and they're holding a spatula? Have you seen people with a microphone? Have you seen people with a spoon microphone? We're spooning right now. We're spooning right now. I'm not going to say that your jokes aren't funny, but I am going to say that it feels like you've paste copied that joke 1,000 times. Empowering questions. By getting feedback, you're okay. So in a world of artificial intelligence, in a world that's controlled by software, in a world that is dominated by information, our ability to ask empowering questions changes how we move through the world. The best way to check in on whether or not we get better from this video is whether or not we're going to revisit this video with a practice of, I asked 2 empowering questions today, or I went an entire week asking a positive question. This is where I got this content from. It's from a book called Limitless, page 62, page 64, page 67. It's within chapter 4. Because problem, your boss is retarded. The CEO is retarded. Solution, what's the solution for a retarded boss? Well, what books does your boss read? Because if he's CEO of a Silicon Valley company, he must have 100 books. Cheers. Cheers. What is good about spilling tea? What is good about spilling tea? What is good about spilling tea? What's good about spilling tea is that you get to see me in a temporary state of being not perfect. And instead of saying, fuck, I can't believe I spilled tea. I can't believe I spilled tea. you get to see me pull out of a negative situation and turn it into a positive situation. That's called not spilt milk under the bridge. It's called green tea is Chinese tea. It's not Asian tea. It's Chinese. Actually, I avoided green tea on the dog. But now that you're asking about this, I do use green tea bags. I do use green tea bags to wash my dog's face because he gets eye boogers. You know how like sleepy sand affects humans? Well, that's what I use for cleaning my dog's face is green tea. Have a great day, Larry Chang. Do you still do comedy? I feel bad when I do comedy. Because I kind of don't like it when people laugh at my jokes. And I don't want to be popular for comedy, but I should be doing a show. This is my show, and I'm conflicted about it. Maybe you can help me with this. I'm conflicted because I feel as if I do comedy on this channel, that the education will be lost. So maybe, oh my gosh, maybe I can, because of your empowering question, have a great day, Larry. Do you still do comedy? Let me try to do comedy while I'm doing this video about being empowering. Oh my God. Okay, so I go out on dates, right? And on a date, I'll think to myself, I'm being serious now. And yeah, I'm laughing at my own jokes, but after you hear what I'm going to say, you're going to laugh too. I think to myself, if I were an OnlyFans girl, I would be making $1,000 on this date. Isn't that not enough money? Let me repeat my joke because I am being entirely serious, which is I'm not an OnlyFans girl. I'm not even a girl. I'm a guy. I'm a guy with a sausage. I'm asking myself on a date an empowering question, which is, you showed up kind of 40 pounds heavier. But I'm still here. You showed up 40 pounds heavier. And remember, the camera, it doesn't add 10 pounds. The camera adds 10 pounds when you're 5'3". But when you're 5'9", the camera, it adds 40 pounds. But then you use filters to look like you don't weigh 170 pounds. But you know what? Your face is okay, but your body, okay? You got a face that's a 7, 8, 9, body 2. Body mass index, 3,300. So during this date, I want to leave right away. But I'm going to remember a Larry Chang video that I made. It's called How to Ask Empowering Questions. So I'm going to say to myself, wow, what do other guys say? This is what I want to ask. What do other guys do when you show up 35 to 45 pounds heavier than your picture? What do other guys do? I want to ask that, but I'm not going to ask that. I'm going to ask myself an empowering question that is completely out of the box, which is, how can I make $1,000? How can I make $1,000? What? You did not just ask her for $1,000. That's not how asking for money works. You don't just ask her for $1,000. Remember, why does she lie on pictures? Because she's too lazy to work out. A person who's too lazy to work out, they're not going to have $1,000 laying around. They're going to be too lazy to make money. They're going to be too lazy to know the difference between a Korean person or a Vietnamese person or a Chinese person. They're just going to be too lazy. They're just going to use the word Asian. This is not going to be a video about discerning the levels of being Chinese or how close to Chinese are you, but that's what the video asks, which is not, are we the chosen people? Because people that ask that question or think that thought, they kind of do some things that make them the opposite of that. Maybe I can do stand-up comedy. Because what's the unexpected benefit is this. Remember, she showed up literally 40 pounds heavier than she was. How am I going to make $1,000? I want her to gain 20 more pounds and make her look 15 pounds lighter. Let me go over the math real quick. So her pictures on Bumble are not audited. Her pictures on Bumble are completely elongated because she's 5'8". She weighs like 175 pounds, but the way that her pictures are, it makes her look like she's 5'10" and 150 pounds. Larry, will you get to the $1,000 portion of this video? Oh, yeah. Because when women lie to you about their weight, when women lie to you about number of sexual partners, when women lie to you about, oh, I'm all about the good life. I want a guy who makes six figures, who's got a six pack and 666. But I myself am not going to make six figures before I turn 30, right? This is where the $1,000 comes in. Because I'm going to tell her, look, you're not exactly my body type. You're not exactly my body type. But there's good news because you're going to be buying me my muffin. What does buying me my muffin mean? I mean, it's not sexual code. I mean, she's going to literally buy me a muffin. She's literally going to buy me a muffin. So go get me a muffin on the hop. Go. This is the coffee shop that we're at. Just go get me a muffin. Me, I'm at Nobu right now. They bring you muffin because it's included in the room. But you're going to make her fly for a muffin. Why are you making her fly for a muffin? Because this date with you is going to be more valuable than the next 10 dates and the last 10 dates. Why? Because I'm asking myself an empowering question, which is, I'm never going to have sex with you. Your body mass index is 330. Like, it's just, I mean, you've got a cute face, right? But you've been lazy with it. And the only thing that's good is your face and shadowing. It's your face shadowing. Like, that's how you engineered your face. At least you wore makeup. Have you guys ever been on a date where the girl doesn't even wear makeup? Put a pin in that. This is $1,000, which is, what if she can continue to eat more? What if she can continue to eat more and have not body dysmorphia, body positivity? I don't know the answer to that, but now I'm asking some pretty empowering questions, which is not, hey, what happens with other guys that completely ghost you? $1,000. So most people that go on a date, they're like, I just want to not spend $50. That's what literally people will say. Be like, I really wasn't planning on spending $100. Endless eating, no repercussions. Ditto sex, where what if she could have sex with 10 more guys with no repercussions? Well, no repercussions to you because you're done with this. By having two tracks of thought, one being incredibly empowering and another one that's curious to be, of the people that you go out on dates with, what percentage of guys don't show? Meaning they saw you show 40 pounds heavier and they decided to escape out the back door. Let's go. Let's go. So we're talking about asking empowering questions. Right now in the dating market, there's mayhem and chaos. Why is there so much chaos and mayhem? Because you've got guys like me that are just obliterating online app dating. Why? Because if you're trying to date normally, which is, oh, I'll be polite and just schedule something on a Tuesday at 6:30, and then I'll be polite and not scheduling something at 7:15, and then also at 7:45, and also at 8:15. Because what's happening is it's a food frenzy. It's a frenzy for food because do I wear a cowboy hat indoors? Yeah, because when you get the date scheduled in 30-minute time increments, it's like professor office hours. And I'm not talking about professor office hours at a really good school like Stanford, Dartmouth, or the University of Illinois. The University of Illinois, it's not a good school. Trust me, I should know, okay? Because I went there. Stanford, Dartmouth, or Columbia. We're talking about are supposed to be group. Office hours at Stanford University. These. Office hours, the cowboy hat indoors. What makes the date so deliciously, scandalously positive is the fact that she's showing up for a date, interrupting your last date. Why? Because you booked in 30-minute increments. Larry, is that the most genius thing you've ever done? Larry, are you the worst guy ever? Do you see why questions matter? Because if you're saying, "Oh, I don't like the equilibrium concept." What? What do you mean you don't like equilibrium? Because the beatings will occur until the morale improves. That's a joke within HR, human resources, which is the beatings and getting yelled at will continue until the morale improves. How does that apply to this? Because it does. It applies to this because when women have a hard time ascertaining price and value, the value and the price get juxtaposed. I want to draw you a chart. I drew you a chart. So the reason drawing a chart works is nice. The reason the chart works is this. The reason the chart works is this. The reason the chart works is this. Is that women want to be adored by 10s, 9s, and 8s. So this is the guys, this is girls. So with the guys, so this is guys, this is women. So in a body positivity format, the guys who are 6s and belows, and when those guys get hidden, what happens? When those guys get hidden, what happens is these people don't even appear. Why? Because all the female attention, it goes towards number of guys. Now, here's the problem with that, is that women, they can't judge who the 7s and the 8s and the 9s are. This is what's never talked about. Which is women can't figure out who the 7s, the 8s, and the 9s are. This is why we have to ask empowering questions, because this is a question that I never hear, which is, what do you do for money? How much money did you save? How much money do you have touching your smartphone? Because what happens is, this is the disempowering question, which is, how much money are you spending? Look at how people got their butts finger into a knot when I'm like, hey, money in does not have to equal money out. Because the whole point of asking questions is to determine 3 things. Can you delay gratification? Can you save money? Do you make enough money where your money in that you make, it has a little bit of savings after you spend money? This is what happens on most dates, is you try to ask questions to be, hey, all the money that you make, do you spend 100% of it? And I realize that it seems like it's gender specific, but that's what happens when women don't ask about money in. They just ask about money out. And once you begin to ask empowering questions, you get to the person who's able to live under their means. This is why we ask empowering questions, is that we want to network with other people who are able to get better from video to video. We want to be able to connect with people who have the ability to make money using no money. We want to be able to meet those people who make money and don't spend 90% of the money that they make. This is why asking empowering questions shows true power, is it's not the government's fault that the economy is bad. It sort of is. But what it is people at the heart of the economy have spent and taken more from the economy than the economy has to give. That's why there's the saying called, did you print the money to steal from your grandchildren? Or that inflation, it's an imaginary tax that future generations pay. Because on a date, these are called red pill truths. Truths that are hidden but take a certain amount of research, which is why my videos, they have a different cadence to them, because it's 5 to 20 red pill truths, because this is people that are females don't see, which is, we're not voting our way out of this. We're not voting our way out of this. And there you go. And there you go with the perfect question that I'm going to pin. The perfect question that I'm going to. And you're peddling porn, which is cool. Borrow money from Jewish people and then consume porn from Jewish people. That's very goy. That's very goy driven. What are we doing though? This is the Goyim school of business, which is, what if we asked empowering questions? What if we no longer paid Jewish people to own a Jewish porn business? What if we no longer did that? What if we no longer did that? What if we no longer did it? Because a cam girl is brain rot, where it's why your brain breaks on porn. Which is another empowering question, which is, how much more could you do in your life if you didn't play video games, you didn't watch porn, and you just watched Larry Chang videos? What happened? What would happen? What would happen? Well, your life would be turned into a real life porno, because you'd go from a 7 to a 9. Guys, girls. When a guy gets slightly higher, yeah, exactly. I do. I don't love it. I live it. There's a difference. There's a difference between I'd love it or I'd live it. That's why I'm so enthusiastic in putting effort into videos that get 300 views lifetime. Because this video, it's going to be evergreen. This video, it's delicious. Why is it delicious? One, on dates, ladies, why don't you ask questions about whether or not you're able to save any money? The super majority of questions is, how much money do you spend? Let me give you an example. Oh, do you hear a Nobu is opening up? Have you been to Nobu before? Oh yeah, I love the Nobu in Miami. I love the Nobu in Las Vegas. Nobu. Cool. I get a sense that you spend a lot of money. Show me a strategy of how you save money. What? You see, that's incredibly empowering, because you're going from spend money equals make money. But then some people do the incorrect thing, which is they fake it until they make it. What does fake it till you make it mean for a guy? It means you get venture capital money and you spend it trying to look rich, trying to look successful, so that way people see you as successful. The whole thing about this economy that I understand, that I constantly have to remind people because they've forgotten it so much that they almost don't understand it, is, can you solve a problem? Can you hear a problem and solve a problem? Your videos aren't going fuel, bro. Hang it up. And there you go. There you go. See, we don't want the thought leadership to go from your brain on zero point zero book into my brain that read 3 books on Super Bowl Sunday. Let me repeat that real quick. See, you said your videos aren't goon fuel, bro. Hang it up. I can tell by your low socioeconomic language that you're Black, Indian, or Pakistani, you're retarded, and that you've read 0 0.0 books. There is no way that you're a Caucasian. There is 0 way that you're a Caucasian. Oh, but Larry, you sound like a white supremacist because you're the most Caucasian person on the planet, or at least in America. Don't view it as Caucasian or white people privilege or pretty privilege because you think I'm pretty. View it as I asked 7 empowering questions. You got busted because I'm asking you empowering questions. I'm giving you power. I'm giving you power. I'm giving you power in asking empowering questions. Why would I do that? Because the alternative is getting into the weeds with a pig, and nobody wins in a pig fight. But this is what it means to be Caucasian privilege, CP, aka cheese pizza. It's Caucasian privilege. This is why a pizza party is amazing, is CP, Caucasian privilege. What's Caucasian privilege? Caucasian privilege is where you can drink green tea that is Chinese green tea in a Japanese restaurant called Nobu and realize that Nobu is the most American restaurant because it's the most American hotel. Why? Because it's a carve out of a spin-off. Carve out, spin off, Nobu. It is now because the alternative for cheese pizza is too damaging. He is the problem, chocolate face, isn't he? He can't help it. He can't help it. He can't help it. He cannot help it. He can't help it. He can't help it. It's the he is definitively not a problem. Catching him in full compliance. Catching him in full compliance. If you have a hard time telling what his head is from his butt, join the club. Join the club. Empowering questions. When questions add power, the conversation becomes delightfully magnetic. What's magnetic? It's a conversation where the more energy you spend, the more energy gets created. That's why you can you can say stuff like, hey, your videos aren't goon fuel, bro, hang it up. Is I caught you because when people attack, they reveal an off-balance position. And the off-balance position is I caught you talking like a person who can't read. I caught you as a person who can't read. Think about that. Because remember, this video begins and ends with AI, with American intelligence, AI, with Web 12. Because when your conversation with another person's conversation yields a disconnect where you don't benefit and they don't benefit, you sound like you're throwing Hail Marys that are negative. Your fifth brain, exactly. The AI component, your fifth brain, correct. Good job. The five brains, AI, American intelligence is your fifth brain. Brain 4 is pulling stuff out of your ass. Brain 3 is your vagina or your penis, thinking and doing good work for you. Yes, my second head does think. Brain number 2 is your stomach. Brain number 1 is your brain. Nobody can forget any of those five brains. This is the empowering nature of, hey, do you have a good gut feel for how this date's going? Because I'm going to buy you 3 tacos. But for each taco, because you showed up 40 pounds heavier, this is me talking to a date. Look, normally guys like me, we take off because you don't look like your profile picture. You showed up a little bit heavier. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy you some tacos anyway. Why am I doing that? Because you're going to introduce me to the 3 hottest girls in your life. It's 1 taco per phone number. Why? Because look, if I marry one of your friends, I'll buy you a 2-bedroom condo. But we are not going to be a thing. See, what you're doing there is you're empowering her to, 1, make $1,000 because she showed up heavier than what she showed up misrepresenting herself. You're rewarding her for that by buying her food. See, what you're doing is you're doing food for lead generation. Because most guys like me, we just slip out the back or we just say, oh, I had something come up. But I can't do that because I got 3 more dates in the same location. 3 more dates in the same location. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn her into an immediate friend zone. 2 ladders, $1,000. I'm making $1,000 right now telling you about the 2 ladders. Friend zone. Most guys only have 1 ladder. What are the 2 ladders? One is the friendship ladder. The other ladder is the situationship ladder. Situationship ladder. So the situationship ladder is what? It's where most men only have 1 ladder, which is they'll have sex with anybody. This is what makes it genius. Why are you? It's a friendship situation. Because that way she won't get confused because she thinks that she still got a shot with you. That ended. That ended. That ended. What began is your friendship. And the friendship starts with a friendship gift, which is, would you like 3 tacos? And I'm not talking about tacos like 3 girls where you're having her go into a 4-way. We're not doing group sex with her. We're just being a nice guy by buying her food while being an asshole, which is you showed up as a 5, but you're advertising a 9.5. That's what you're advertising. Truth in advertising. So this is due diligence. You're not passing muster. This is a problem. I'm solving it, which is I'm going to buy you some food. This is delayed gratification. This is an exit interview. So your first date is you're breaking up with her, but you're breaking up with her to give her food and get something from her, which is connections to her hotter friends. Why? Because women run in packs. Why? Because that's just how it's wired. Do you see how it's genius to review here? It's genius to have 2 ladders, friend ladder and relationship ladder. Guys make the mistake of only having 1 ladder. 2, exit interview. Normally the exit interview, aka breaking up, it only happens when you're dating and then you go break up at an Uber restaurant so that way she can't make a big scene because you're telling her in person in a restaurant, right? You're protected because you're breaking up at a restaurant. Or you can just ghost, but that's what most people do right now. Well, that's what most people do right now, where I'm saying you should do this genius thing. If you just ghost her, yeah, that option's doing when I was in the bathroom. Web 12. This is the value of the entire video, which is PQRST Web 12. Preview, question, read, summarize, test, Web 12. Where Web 12 is a conversation by and between social media content or content in a conversation or content that you just take notes on. What is Web 12? It's basically, can this conversation get summed up into being a web page? What is Web 12? Can you summarize this video? Can you benefit from any video where you write a 12 to 20 sentence reaction? Here's an example. Empowering questions, chapter 4, Limitless. This is how I got teased the content of empowering questions. This is what I did at my job search with asking empowering questions. This is how I went to a networking function online about empowering questions. This is what I did on a website. This is what I did on a website. This is what I did on a website. Or this is what I did not on Instagram, YouTube, or social media, but on a static web page. Why? Because AI models are trained using web pages. AI models rely upon what did the human think about the AI generated slop. And when I say slop, I'm saying this is an empowering version of slop, which is it's not necessarily slop. What it is it's information that can get better. And it only gets better when it's used and reapplied and redirected. Here's an example of something, which is OKRs with John Doerr's book. So can you take a webcast or a podcast conversation and then ask follow-on questions, which is, hey, John Doerr, I had a question about chapter 14, your YouTube case study. I'm trying to apply the YouTube case study to my company, blah, blah, blah. That's Web 12. And then you springboard off of other people's content like you're doing book club, but for a bibliography. book club, but for the world is your library. Are you able to organize the information? That's Web 12. So the empowering question to ask is, hey, Larry, how do I benefit from this video? How do I make $1,000 from this video? I'll leave that to you in the comments.
break up, how to make up, how to cold open. Breaking up, how to break up. Before, breaking up would be like pulling a scab off. Now, breaking up is pretty much just ending things with a prostitute, where she just says, next, and then you just say, I think I'm going to stop payments across the board. Before, it used to be a breakup where you're emotionally attached, but when you're rocking a number over 50 or 20 or 15, you don't even need to be broken up with because you don't pair bond. That's breaking up. Right now, it's almost like ending a relationship with a call girl or prostitute, depending on your level of pay for play. Weijin to Weijin, how are you able to think about how well are you able to think about this? Chinese people are now greater than white people in America. Why? Because white people in America, they're hoping that the government gets their shit organized, getting their poop together. That's never going to happen. This is what you don't understand is it's not even pretend capitalism. It's right now overt socialism. And this is how I know is I asked a Caucasian dude with a retriever, "Hey, can we say hi? Gonna have to pass it this time." What? Ugh. When did Chinese people become the new white meat? When did Chinese people become the new Caucasian people? When did an American born Chinese person become the number one most American person in America? This is not overstating the obvious truth. This is not overstating it. This is conjuring up the lion's share of who is doling out truths. And that is this. When you say, and you're a woman, I can get that guy, he's Chinese, you're not understanding that when everybody thinks the way that you do, you no longer have an arbitrage because other people, other women, are thinking the exact same thing that you are. And what I mean by that is when everybody thinks that's the best deal I could get, which is a Caucasian person, they're just branded a permanent tan and Chinese looking on the outside. When you think that that's the best alternative to a permanent dating situation, a BATDNA, best alternative to a permanent dating situation, BAT PDNA. Working on the acronym, it's kind of like BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement, which is your best choice for marriage a American-born Chinese person? Is that your best choice? Because to a lot of women, they're saying, oh my gosh, I can get that guy, he's Chinese. But what you don't get is Chinese penis. It's the new white penis. Chinese guy, it's the new Caucasian guy. Why? Because Caucasian guys got euthanized. Caucasian guys got sacrificed toxicity. So when women are accusing men of being toxic, that was every accusation slowly becoming a reality. Normally, it's every accusation becoming a confession, but it's the Speak It Into Existence, the feminist conference at JW Marriott, where it's pure toxic. Look at people's faces. No one's smiling. No one's having a good time. It's like the syphilis, where he's pushing a boulder up a hill with his STD penis, syphilis with syphilis. He's cursed to constantly push a boulder up a hill, and then the boulder rolls down. That's what it feels like going to a women's conference where it's syphilis with syphilis. They're trying to push a boulder up the hill with their STD vagina. Nobody's having a good time because they're trying to fight the 3 laws of thermodynamics. You're trying to fight heat transfer. You're trying to fight entropy, and you're trying to avoid proof of work by calling the people who are doing the work toxic because they provenly executed on the work. It's been a delight to hang out with you. It's been really amazing. Welcome. Are you feeling welcome? Am I doing a good enough job in making you feel welcome? Do you feel like you're getting all that you need? Do you feel like you're getting ROI for the time that we're connecting? Do you feel like I could be doing a better job? Do you feel like you could be doing a better job? How have you been in exploring a stuffed animal that's made to connect? Do you think that a person needs to hit rock bottom before they become no longer addicted to cigarettes, porn, or Larry Chang videos? It's incredibly addictive. I get it. It's a bastion of positivity. How did I get to where I am? What are we talking about in this video? It takes a certain level of embarrassment to realize we can never be embarrassed ever again. It takes a certain level of exposure. We can realize it takes a certain level of, I got embarrassed, that actually wasn't that bad, in order to then connect to, we can explore and try things without fear of failure, fear of embarrassment. Because what is porn? What are drugs? What are other alternatives? The alternative is to mitigate risk. The alternative is to not ever experience any level of embarrassment. This is what happens when you attempt to sell something. This is what happens when you attempt to do a cold open, is you have no EQ, your emotional quotient is super low. Once you attempt to try to do a live stream, once you attempt to fail forward, you now then are thinking that confidence is something that you can borrow. How white and black is that, where you think you can borrow somebody else's confidence? Oh, if I just stand closer to Larry Chang, I can be more confident, where I myself am feeling negative about myself. Chime in, or bolt You pick, because what we're talking about is embarrassment. How can you hit a rock bottom, a local bottom, power bottom, where you got embarrassed? Now you're able to max yourself. Self-maxing. You got embarrassed because not you, but somebody else made an accusation. Now you're embarrassed. Do you take ownership of it? When you wonder, hey, how can Larry do these videos so enthusiastically? It's me plus one other person here. His vibe is he's talking to 50,000 people. He doesn't get 50,000 views in a week. You see, I've been here before where product market fit has not yet arrived. You see, I've been here before. People thought I should be embarrassed in starting a business that wasn't getting any traction. My first embarrassment that was ginormously embarrassing was having to tell people in my hometown that I had dropped out of the University of Illinois. And what was I doing? I was selling cars in the University of Illinois, Naperville. Having to sell cars in your own hometown is signaling to the world, my safety college of the University of Illinois, it was too much for me to handle. Ryan saying, awesome hat. Thank you, buddy. We're talking about an embarrassing moment, which was having to drop out of engineering school and not slink away and go hide in a corner. It was to fail in public. Now I'm going to go sell cars in my hometown dealership. You don't go wait on tables. That's actually a pretty good job. Working at a dealership for hours and hours, that's a way, way, way worse job. Futz Bucket 1682. Nice name, buddy. Nice name. Asian cowboy. It's specifically Chinese cowboy. It's, if you're going to be accurate, an Oriental cowboy. Because remember, if a rug or a lamp is high quality, it's not an Asian rug or a South Asian lamp. It's an Oriental rug. What happens when you're on a really, really, really good train? Are you on the Long Island Rail? Are you on a fucking Amtrak? No. You're on the Oriental Express. That's how you know you're riding in luxury. What? Too much confidence? What? Don't feel good about throwing a homosexual Hail Mary next? What? You got embarrassed because I'm answering questions? And you're going to pop in and say, oh, is this a person that I can bully? I feel as if I can semi-relate. I dropped them out of high school and had to start all over, but I'm semi-successful now. What happens when you're temporarily embarrassed is now your reputation died, and now you can load and explode because humility, accountability, rational thinking, being able to admit, hey, maybe my ego is getting in the way. Because what is our ego? It's a dark angel sitting on our shoulder trying to say, hey, you're too good for this. You're too good to put that much effort into a YouTube live with a single digit number of people. You're too good. You're too good. Quit. Quit because you're too good for this. This is why not quitting makes you unstoppable. What's up? Cowboy says, what up? Cowboy says, what up? Cowboy says, enjoy being a moderator. Because when we, together, champion our past embarrassments in order to demarcate and plan future embarrassments. Whoa, did the Oriental Cowboy with the Mr. Robot mask just say, let's plan to be embarrassed in the future? Because yes. Mr. Boston has chimed in to say hi. I have some innovations. I have some fears about your innovations. Future embarrassments. Have you ever tried to sell anything to anybody? I am selling something to you. I'm hard selling you on something that's $0. But have you ever tried selling to a person what you're going to watch me do? Because on Saturday, I wanted to call this video Psycho Monday. Buckaroo says, I enjoy the fact that you enjoy my hat. We're planning a future embarrassment. Why? Because we're practicing our EQ, our emotional quotient. I'm not going to be quoting Tim Chang because you don't believe in Tim Chang because you think that Larry Chang, Tim Teo. You believe that Tim Chang, John Teo, Larry Chang are one person. Tim Chang, quoting Tim Chang, he looks exactly like Larry Chang. Ditto, AI, VCs, Ed Chen, Bruce Wang, Larry Chang, which is quoting Tim Chang. What if we were to practice our EQ, our emotional quotient? What if we were to practice our mental wherewithal, where we wouldn't have to pitch the fact that we have a limitless lithium battery. We would just sell our prototype or reprototype our prototype to go from making 1 to making 10 and selling 10, making 10 and selling 10, or making 2 to sell 2 versus being fake hardware deliverer. This is why everybody who's a VC says, oh, cool, you invented something? Great. Yo! Enjoy that one. Because Mike Arrington, we invented a iPad 2 to 6 years before an iPad got invented. He got jugated. Is that embarrassing? No. It was us understanding that jugad happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. What's jugad? Jugad is where a Jewish or an Indian person says, jugad my money? Jugad your money? I just jugaded your money via a scam call center. You see, I was embarrassed when I got jugaded by a person in the tribe. I'm in the tribe. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to be holding Jewish people accountable for doing human things, because not all Jews are like that. Definitely not all Jews are like that. I said when I got screwed, I said, good for you. You embarrassed me, but that's okay. I will not learn next time. Michael Pools, On Campus Marketing Concepts, Michael Pools. Later, Michael Pools, continuing to do what he did, he went to federal prison. Michael Pools, Pouls. You can say that he was a Russian Jew or a Ukrainian Jew. Is there a difference? You see, I didn't get embarrassed when he screwed me out of money. Because of my dad giving me this advice, oh, you got screwed? Well, if you're not getting screwed twice a month, are you even important enough? Have you ever been screwed in business? Have you ever been embarrassed where after you got screwed, your company almost went bankrupt? Because later, we were selling credit cards for Oak Brook Bank, Richard Reeser, Oak Brook Bank. He decided to change the deal. He was a Ashkenazi Jew from either Ukraine or Russia. Isn't it just the same cabal? Because hat tip Richard Reeser, you won. You got my money. Was I embarrassed because Duck 9 was teetering on bankruptcy? Yeah, but I knew that he needed the money more than me. This is why I stole his URL that became my URL. Because Duck 9, we've taken on monopolies, we've taken on oligopolies. A monopoly is where you embarrass yourself by going head to head with a monopoly called Fair Isaac. They still have a monopoly. The US credit system is FICO score based. There is no other scoring system that is of any relevance, which is FICO scores. Oligopolies, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, 3 oligopolies, all oligopolistic. Rayan has chimed in to say hi. Oligopoly. As promised, delivering. Hey Larry, says Rayan. You're embarrassing yourself by doing a $800 Bible. Couldn't we sell more $800 Bibles if we sold an $800 Mark McCormack book? What you're doing is you're analyzing and doing anal while having a closed sphincter. Now, I'm not saying that you should open up your sphincter. I'm saying you're stuck at 0, where you're analyzing at 0, other people at 0, you're 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This is why this video is for you. Because mentally you think that you'd be embarrassed if you even tried. Mentally you think that you would die inside. Maybe I need to retell the Parisian story of me exploding the toilet. Maybe. But instead of me rehashing a Paris underground food doogie that was embarrassing, we explore our EQ, our emotional quotient. What have we done to try to become of higher IQ or higher EQ? There you go. Good job selling 1 Bible. You need to do that in person. It's called 1 person, 2 Bibles. So it's embarrassing to show up at a coffee shop in your city doing 2 Bibles. Listen, the police are coming. They're saying you're guilty of not being rich. You're guilty because this is a illness, it's an illness called I'm stuck at 0. The reason I didn't get stuck at 0 is I don't necessarily want to say I can't be embarrassed, but here's what's on the other side of being embarrassed, which is you're going to die. And so being temporarily embarrassed, it kind of doesn't matter. And once you connect the two, I see it as clear as day because people just callously throw away their youth because they think that they're never going to die and that their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, that those decades will just last forever. Therefore, they don't have to go try at something that they may fail at. This is why I'm going to do something that I definitively will fail at, which is selling something to ugly fat women who are poor. I don't talk to ugly women. Fat women hate everybody. Poor women who are fat, there is no way that fat, ugly, poor women would ever buy anything from me. That's why I'm going to do it. No, no, no. There is the owner of the goat that people believe is the goat, but in reality, the goat is the real goat. Thank you. Thank you. I'm guilty of being poor. That is true. What? Temporarily poor. So true, we are going to die. So true. Oligopoly. Yeah, isn't that funny how, yeah. This is why we don't sell on social media. What are we selling? We're selling 2 Mark McCormack books, 1 Larry Chang, 2 books, 1 Larry Chang, target market. I know rich people are going to want to buy an $800 book from me because rich people just keep getting richer. Being able to sell a poor fat girl who's also obese a $20 book for $10, that's going to be nearly impossible to do even for me. Why? Because I'm trying to embarrass myself. I'm going to try to embarrass myself. You see, there's a rule in making money. There's a rule in making money. What's that rule? It's never pitch the poor person. Also, never sell things to women. So I'm breaking 2 rules by and fat people. You want to avoid fat people, especially fat women. Because fat women have been told, hey, you're beautiful. Every weight is beautiful. Fat men tell themselves, I'm out of shape. I should be depressed. Fat women are currently being lied to. Why? Because women secretly hate other women. Let's go. Let's go. I know. What rules are we making? What rules have we made up that don't connect to anything? It's just a rule that we made up because we're trying to avoid embarrassment. I care about everybody. Thank you for talking about your sexuality. I care. The only sexuality that we're talking about is my sexuality. I hope you find what you're looking for after your 10-second timeout. Embarrassment. Oh, perfectly on cue. Have you been honest about your inception? Like, how did you know that you were oriented that way? Because have you lied 5,000 times about how you know you are that way? Or are you too embarrassed to talk about it? Or are you lying to other people so that way you trick people to fondle your inside out vagina? Have you thought about that wiring? Because lies, embarrassment. Oh, I was born this way. Is that really true? Who was the first person that you were attracted to? I remember. Because every person who lies said, oh, I've always been attracted to old men. Really? 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 I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because I've never heard a person who is oriented that way say, I've always been attracted to people that are my same gender, 1 or 2 years older or younger than me. I've never heard that ever in the history. This is why when you give people a voice and a platform, people tell on themselves. People can't help but tell on themselves. Do you remember the poo story about the French Parisian apartment with the small piping and the small plumbing? Because something's wrong with a person who's tall and Chinese who absolutely needs to drop a deuce in a girl's apartment within the first 13 minutes of a relationship. Like, there's something wrong with that person. Have you heard a person say, hey, my friend, he's kind of hilarious. This is what he does immediately when he starts dating a girl. He does this before he dates a girl. Women dig it. Okay, what's he do? Well, he says, hey, can I use the bathroom? He drops a ginormous deuce. He doesn't upper deck her bathroom. That's rude. Okay, that's rude. Upper deck? That's bad. Bad. I personally believe we lie to ourselves more than we lie to other people, which in return makes us lie even more to people. This is why once we begin to make ourselves, where the version of ourselves that is so amazing, we have to lie in the opposite direction, which is, oh shucks, I'm not that amazing. That then is called DDSS. If you want to grab a pen, this is incredibly useful for no longer ever experiencing embarrassment ever again. You see, what you said, I'm going to pin because this is the opposite of stress. This is uress. It's a word I just made up. Maybe I made it up 10 years ago. It's the opposite of fake it till you make it. This is make it. This is me telling Ron, hey, I liked and subscribed. Will you like and subscribe? Will you like and connect with a hashtag that you already made fun of? You left off the hashtag that you're making fun of, which is betas who used to say I'm rich, then later, 13 videos later, you said, oh, I'm poor, because we're trying to do FAGR, fuck around and get rich. This is how to get over zero. This is how to get over yourself. This is how to set aside your ego and try something new. That's why we do fuck around and get rich. Think about 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge. It's funny enough where you'll get a person such as Justin, I forget if it's Justin Khan or Justin Sun, or Justin, it's a super twinky banana dude named Justin. He's a Stanford gymnast. He's Stanford, he's Y Combinator, he's Larry Chang. He's one of the only triple threats of Stanford University institution, also YC, also Larry Chang. Justin. Anyway, Justin goes, I want to try to sell because I was at Stanford Daily doing sales coaching, fucking around and getting rich. What was the exercise, Larry, that you did at Stanford Daily? Because people don't want to be embarrassed. People don't want to be hung up on. I went to Stanford, so I didn't have to learn how to sell, Larry. Now I have to learn how to sell? Make it fun. Can you make it fun? We can absolutely make it fun. We're about to make it super fun right now. How can we make selling on the phone super fun? How can we do that? We are going to do that by doing it versus, oh, that's just the theory of doing it. Theory to theorem, the Y changing to an M changes everything. 3 institutions of Silicon Valley: Stanford University, Y Combinator, Larry Chang, not in that order. Because the order is Larry Chang, Stanford, Y Combinator. Why? Because I'll take anybody. Look at the people I fuck around with. I take everybody. I take everybody. UW, get those pictures uploaded. Get those pictures uploaded. What are we uploading pictures of? The HVAC. How spot on was the Joe Rogan tickets poll? Because, oh, this green tea really did a good job. Really, really did a good job. I mean, like a Caucasian guy making green tea. Like A+ work. A+ work. I would lie to you during comedy sets, but I don't have to. I don't have to. Leaving voicemail messages for the HVAC guy. Wait, that would be me. I'm the HVAC guy. I'm the HVAC guy. Larry, how much time do you spend on hair care? 3 minutes per month. Larry, how much time do you spend on skincare? 30 hours per day. 30 hours per day. Happy Friday! Happy Friday! Happy Friday! These are the two animals that are going to be attending some event at Puzzle Palace. I hope you're good. Friday is a fun day. What do you got going on this weekend? There's a party at a pool on Saturday. There's a party right now on the phone. Hi, calling for Ryan Rogers, Larry Chang, CH. is this Ryan Rogers? This is Larry Chang. This is Larry Chang. I'm not a recruiter. I'm calling you to recruit myself for a biz dev role. Thanks. Maybe. That is the perfect answer. That is the perfect answer. Because if I but then that's why I rolled right into number two. That's why I rolled right into number two. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I am a tech salesperson, and my University of Illinois computer science background does not have less luster just because I can talk and recover from initially saying something wrong. Because as tech sales, if even if you're not wrong, which I am wrong, even if I weren't wrong, I would say that I'm wrong because not that the customer's always right, but because I'm open to, hey, maybe I am wrong about how awesome working for Fong Lee's underling's underling or direct report to do BDR work for, hey, what are you guys working from a business intelligence standpoint? Oh, you're wrong. Okay, cool. Well, my pen's handy. Yeah. So I'm looking for a BDR role on the phone. I mean, I can work in Virginia, but I'm in the Bay Area, Palo Alto. Yeah. I mean, isn't it the same ecosystem where McLean, Virginia, Tyson's Corner, you guys just print money and software is eating the world? So, I mean, it's just me solo. So, I think my moving allowance, I think my moving allowance would be like 4 grand. I got a dog and 2 suitcases. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I studied chemical engineering and then I backdoored into CS, which is actually seemingly more significant versus only CS without any problem hunting. Because I want to eventually be CEO of something and I can't unless I go through sales, I think. And I'm soft. That's what I'm saying. And I don't really have that in my arsenal. So product management, sure. And you don't have to put me at the lowest level, but cream rises pretty quickly. Like it doesn't matter if the guy, what's your favorite sport? Money. Calling people on the phone, Larry, that's my sport. Oh, okay. So, well, that cream rises pretty quickly too. Perfect. 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 Okay. Okay, we'll just stay with business. So so in using a skateboard analogy, which I would be lost in, which is when Tony introduces people to the fact that, hi, I'm Tony, what's his last name? Hawk? He introduces himself, and then people are like, no way, because you're too young. And so that cream rises where it doesn't matter if your social media doesn't come with you. You are still, hey, teach me this new skateboarding innovation that involves who knows what parkour, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. So then in telephone sales work, it would be, I had no idea that you could close a deal over video voicemail. And people are like, what? I never even leave a voicemail. And then I would say, well, if I'm in CS or doing product, I would actually need to talk you through the BI, business intelligence, or the PM, product management, for that one one point of failure that you're just not freaking understanding. I read all those emails. So then you just leave a voicemail saying, look, page 179 of your slide deck, it's broken. And then over on your GitHub repository, everyone's too polite kissing your ass with glow up that you didn't see this one thing, and then you leave a message that is duplicate on YouTube because 99% of tech dudes never pick up the phone. So then you SEO, search engine optimize their name. Let's say it's Paul Buchheit with the right number of H's, or Tim Ferriss, 2 R's, 2 S's. I can't believe he actually knows how to code. So then you leave a voicemail. Hi, I'm Larry Chang, Chiang, leaving you a voicemail. But then concurrent to that voicemail, you post it to YouTube. You're not providing anything private. You're just saying, Tim Ferriss, 2 R's, 2 S's. I saw your GitHub repository. I saw your slide deck, page 179. These are your 2 points of potential failure. I may not know what I'm talking about, but I do. And now you're leaving them a voicemail message, which is transcribed. But 2, their name, when it appears on YouTube, and you got to be careful with it because you don't want to post private info. But if it's on their GitHub repository, Paul Buchheit, and your slide deck is on LinkedIn, like you're checking all the privacy boxes of this is your public stuff. And then you tell them those 2 points, that's not going to guarantee a callback. But now you're not just a fluffy, dumb salesman that's like, look, I don't want to buy your thing. I don't want you to schedule an appointment. I want to talk to a CS person. I want to talk to somebody. I made $50,000 on 2 of his voicemail messages. And if your voicemail messages suck, well, then maybe they shouldn't call you back. It's kind of the Web 2ification of, can you record a voicemail message? No. Can you take that voicemail message and supplant it over to YouTube, which was what I was getting ready to do under Ryan Rogers. There's no D in Rogers. There is an I before A in Chang. Business intelligence, and then 2 things to do. Stanford Daily. I went to University of Illinois. I messed around at Stanford. Stanford Daily, helping engineers sell print advertising. Mary Lou Asperger's? It's not her right name. Mary Lou, she's the Olympic swimmer. I'm brain farting. Foul zone! My God. So then she was an Olympic swimmer who sold shit on the phone, sold shiitake on the phone, using the Ben Horowitz book, The Hard Part About the Hard Part, where she sold print advertising at Stanford Daily, courtesy Larry Chang, because I sold Daily Illini advertising when I was graduating, #1 highest starting salary in chemical engineering. So that's just helping Stanford Daily paste copy Daily Illini. I've taken up too much of your time. What do you want me to do? You want me to email? You want me to fly out? Okay. Okay. Is this your landline, or is this, what is this? Is this a cell phone? Uh, that's so at Stanford Daily, the 650-723 number, the Jeff from Twilio. It's a ported in, it looks like a landline. It's a ported landline. So that's another phone strategy. How do you guys, for BDR, do you guys do how do you do CRM? Is it okay? And then do you allow a personal cell phone to plug into CRM? The reason I ask, because the destination from phone number, I've noticed that there's a huge delta. So if you're calling from like a cheap area code, like a 602 or a 480, it looks like customer service and it looks like low value. Whereas if you're calling from Falls Church, Virginia, thanks. Thanks. It's conversion rate. Yeah, it's conversion rate. It's I'm gonna fail 40% of the time. Yeah, I'm gonna text you. Sure, sure. Text me when you can call, or just text me when you can talk because I live with my phone out my ear hole because I'm learning to be a sales rep. All right, call me or text me before you want me to call me. Text me. Okay, see you. Bye. That's how you close on the phone. That's how you close on the phone. Winning. That's what winning looks like. That's what winning feels like. Was my face too strong? Was there too much face? Let's go. Let's go. Are you pumped? I'm pumped. Let's do it again. You having a good time? I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time dialing for Dolores. This is how to win, kids. How to close or reveal the voicemail. But Larry, you only have 62 views. I have a new best friend. I have a new best friend. Because on the phone, they actually can tell that you're wearing a cowboy hat, Crocs, and a tank top. But the vibe feels like I'm wearing a tie with a vest. Why? Because guess who is my new best phone friend? Ryan. I know. I know. I haven't negotiated a moving fee. I negotiated a moving fee. I think it was either $40,000, $14,000, or $4,000. It was minuscule. It was minuscule. Are you coming to pool party tomorrow or what? Tell me. Tell me. And you're welcome. And thank you. Should I buy you some dinner? Wait a minute. Aren't you gonna make 15 grand if I get hired? Why don't I buy you dinner? I am hilarious. I am hilarious. I'd want to do business with me. I'd want to do business with me. It feels like a vacation. Doing business with Larry Chang, it feels like you're gonna make a shit ton of money, and it sounds like I'm joking, and it sounds like I'm working for $15 million a day, and it sounds like I'm working for you. Doesn't it? To me, it does. Oh my God, is this Hot Girl Sales Club? It is. It is Hot Girl Sales Club. Where are my comments? I have no comments. Hey, one viewer. Hey, one viewer. We'll call you Chris. One viewer, Chris. Will you see if the comment button's broken? Oh, Larry, you intimidate me. You intimidate me with how awesome you are. I'm serious. Will you comment? Good? I'm going to text one person to see if I can increase this room size by 50%. You know what? All the important people are here right now. Did you hear me close that deal over voicemail? Did you hear me close that deal over voicemail? Oh, do I ask the best questions? This is why you ask the best questions. Because if you ask really good questions, then you don't sound like you suck.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. These are the two animals that are going to be attending some event at Puzzle Palace. I hope you're good. Friday is a fun day. What do you got going on this weekend? There's a party at a pool on Saturday. There's a party right now on the phone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. These are the two animals that are going to be attending some event at Puzzle Palace. I hope you're good. Friday is a fun day. What do you got going on this weekend? There's a party at a pool on Saturday. There's a party right now on the phone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. These are the two animals that are going to be attending some event at Puzzle Palace. I hope you're good. Friday is a fun day. What do you got going on this weekend? There's a party at a pool on Saturday. There's a party right now on the phone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. These are the two animals that are going to be attending some event at Puzzle Palace. I hope you're good. Friday is a fun day. What do you got going on this weekend? There's a party at a pool on Saturday.
There's a party at a pool on Saturday.
A party right now on the phone.
Party right now on the phone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Who loves WordPress? Who loves WordPress? I love WordPress a little too much. I mean, I'm not going to start a company called WP Engine, but I might start a company called Duck9 Loves WordPress, where I use WordPress to promote WordPress conversations. How you been doing? I think last time we hung out was San Francisco at Black and White Ball at SF Opera House. Maybe. How have you been doing? How have you been doing? I went to Kentucky Derby one time. I saved money on a cowboy hat. And now I always wear a cowboy hat because my cowboy hat only cost $50. And now I wear it all the time. Making money is so easy. It's so easy. Matt Smith. What up? How are you? I hope you're great. Larry Chang. There's an I before the A in Chang. Matt. Larry Chang. This doesn't even sound like you. You sound like you got. This sounds like you got. This sounds like you got vocal cord updates. This is Larry. Pretty good. This doesn't sound like the Matt Smith I know. Matt Smith, the guy who used to own 388XXXX. Cool. You sound like a nice guy, though. Take care. No, where? Oh, I'm not on my couch. You did not give up one of your old numbers, Matt Smith. What the heck? What a great day. 11/11.